Okay. So chapter 13, verse 13. Kshetra Kshetrajna Yoga, Vibhaga Yoga. So we are starting with the so till the previous verse he was explaining, Bhagavan was explaining to Arjuna that there is this difference between Kshetra and Kshetrajna. The one who is what you perceive is the field, the one who perceives is the knower of the field. Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga, which means the difference between the knower and the known, the object and the subject, the seer and the seen, the hearer and the heard, the experiencer and the experienced. So in usually in Vedanta, this is called as a triputi. It's called as triputi. Triputi are three things that go together, which is the experience, the experiencer, and the experienced, the object of experience, the one who's experiencing, and the experience itself. So if I'm eating an ice cream, I am the experiencer. I am experiencer of the one who's eating the ice cream. The ice cream is the one that is being experienced. It's the object. So I am the subject. This is the object, and the experience itself is there. There is something that's coming out of this engagement, right? Between the subject and the object, there's something coming out. That is the experience. So together it's called the triputi. And this is called as a triputi dosha. This dosha, it's also called as a dosha because the one is appearing as many. When one is appearing as many, it's a dosha, which means we are seeing these three things as three separate things. And in reality, it is not three separate things. It is, in Jiddu Krishnamurti's words, Jiddu Krishnamurti would say the observer is the observed. That which you are observing is the observer himself. So if you are observing something within you as an emotion, as an experience, it is nothing but you. It is a way of saying, so Vedanta says it in a different way. Vedanta says that you differentiate yourself so that you know the true you or the subject is this unchanging principle. But Jiddu Krishnamurti positions it differently. He says you don't see that thing different from you. If you're getting anger, if you're getting hatred, if you're getting jealousy, if you're getting joy, don't see it different from you. It is you. The moment you're differentiating it from you, there is conflict inside you. You're saying, I'm feeling jealousy. I should not feel jealousy. So then you start, there is conflict. The moment you're naming your emotion, something is happening to you, there is conflict that's created within you. So it's a slightly different approach, but essentially it's the same idea. To see the unison in the whole Triputi. In the Triputi, there is no differentiation between that. One way of looking at it is you actually identify the differentiation. You say, I'm different, I'm different, I'm different. You come to a place where you say, everything is happening inside of me. If I'm touching something, I'm feeling cold. The cold is not on that object. It is on my hand. Correct? See, if you go and hold a rod, if the rod is hot or cold, it will depend on the temperature of your hand. Correct? If you go put your hand in ice water and then you come and touch somebody's skin, and then you will feel their skin is very warm. Why? Because the relative temperature is higher. Because your hand has become cold, that person's skin temperature feels hot. At the same time, if your hand is heated up and you go touch somebody normal, you will feel that the skin is cold. So it's relative. So that way, where is the experience happening? It is happening on my skin. Likewise, when I'm seeing, where is the experience happening? It's happening inside of me. When I'm hearing, where is the hearing experience happening? It's happening inside of me. So when you start looking at it this way, the whole experience is happening inside of me. Yes, Mama?
But Vedantathila when they say that the object cannot be the subject. Ilya.
Correct. So that is why I said there are multiple prakriya. There are different ways of looking at this.
Okay. Adu theriyum.
So the prakriya is, one prakriya is I differentiate neti, na iti, na iti, na iti. I remove everything out. I say, no, I'm not this. I'm not the body. I'm not the mind. I'm not the emotions. I'm not the feelings. I'm not the energy. I'm not the experience. I'm not this, not this. And you come to a complete silence within and you recognize, oh, I am this. Right? That subject, the identification of the subject happens as a process of elimination. Right? The other process is of assimilation. One is elimination, the other is assimilation or inclusion, where you're saying anything that is happening, there is no world outside at all. Right? Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam pashyannatmane vidyaya bahirivod bhutam yatha nidraya. So he says, as though the world is, so how does the world exist in our experience? As though a city is seen through a rear view mirror. Right? So it's like that in my experience. There is no world on the outside. The world is inside only. Right? Like Shiva is saying what? Yat pinde tad brahmande. Correct. The whole universe is within us only. So the pindanda, which is I, is essentially the brahmanda, because there is no brahmanda outside of my experience. So this is one way. This is assimilation. This is inclusion. This is a way of inclusion. So when I say there is nothing else outside there, everything else is here. Everything is happening inside of me. The processes of perception, the processes of thinking, emotions, feeling, hearing, everything is happening here, 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 here. And then when you do that, you come to a place saying that there is no world outside of my experience. When I in deep sleep, is there a world? Maybe not. I don't know. So when I'm looking at it that way, I say that the world, this is the world. So then you take complete charge of yourself. You take complete charge of yourself to say that this is the world that is out there, is what I have created. The world that I'm experiencing is my creation.
நிசர்கதத்தம் அதான் சொல்றாரு.
Nisargadatta Maharaj also says this.
அவரும் அதான் சொல்றாரு.
Correct.
What you are seeing is your world. But in my world, there is nothing அப்படின்னாரு.
Exactly. There is nothing, there is no differentiation of, there is no world and me. So it is a way of including the wholesome of experience is inside of me. So there's complete inclusion. The other way is exclusion by moving everything out of me. I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am not the emotions. I am not this world. I am not the table I touch. I am not the air I feel. I am not the thoughts that I have. Then I withdraw, and I come to a place where I'm saying, now this is only the experience of I that is there is the only true experience. I come to that place. So slightly different ways of looking at the same idea of Triputi. The idea of Triputi is experiencer, experienced, and the object of, or the process of experiencing. The process. These three together is created. This three creates the conflict inside us, because we differentiate them. You look at them as a whole, or you see none of them exists. Right? You either see all of them together, you see them together, it's happening, it's all one, it's not three separate, it's all one. Or none of the three exist. All the three are illusions, all the three are a matrix. So this is how he has been explaining to him, saying, this is the field and the knower of the field. Now Krishna is going forward further to explain this um, he's saying now that which ought to be known, by knowing which one attains immortality. Now let me start explaining it to you that what needs to be known. You know a million things in this world, but it's completely irrelevant. At the end of the day, 100 lifetimes you've lived, you've come back and you've known a million things. Has it made you any better? Without knowing your true essence, without knowing who you really are, without knowing that um, I am this consciousness, I am this conscious principle, without knowing that, knowing 100 or a million or a billion other things is not going to help. Chandogya Upanishad, the same story goes. The father asks, the father asks the Shishya, after 12 years of education, the Shishya comes to the father and he says, I've studied everything. So then the father asks, have you studied that which, have you known that by knowing which everything else is known? So the son immediately is stunned. He's like, oh my God, my teacher didn't teach me this at all. 12 years he is wasted. He's made a fool out of me. Right? So the father says, no, I'm not belittling what the teacher has taught you, but this is the most important thing. Knowing which everything is known means what? You know that principle or that process which knows everything. It doesn't mean that if I know the Atma, suddenly tomorrow morning I will know how to build a motorcycle. It's not like that. By knowing those Nisargadatta Maharaj, for example, he is self-realized. Swami Nityananda, realized being. You go and ask them, Guruji, um, how do I fix this pressure cooker? It is not working. So he'll tell you, go take it to a shop and get it fixed by somebody who knows it. Oh, but Guruji, you only told you know that by knowing which everything else is known, right? So this is the difference between subjective knowledge and objective knowledge. Objective knowledge, nobody can know everything. Even Bhagavan himself comes down, he will not know everything. This because your human structure constitution is limited. There is limitation. You cannot fill in unlimited stuff into something that is limited. In fact, this is what I've told people when people fall at sannyasis or master gurus or such beings, feet of some great masters. They'll suddenly say a few things. You go do this, you do that, this will be like that, this will be like that, whatever. And then those who go and do that later, they'll wonder, how did Swamiji, how did that guru know this? And people will think that, oh, they know everything. They don't know everything. At that moment, when you are in their presence, what needs to flow through them will flow through them. They are not a container, they are only a channel. So some information needs to flow through them. Because they have become a channel, it will flow through them. Right? So in that sense, he says, whatever you need to know, which is the ultimate truth. Everything else you've known, but knowing this is going to lead to salvation. Moksha, nothing else is going to give you moksha. If you're looking for liberation, then knowing 100 things in the world is not going to give you that. So he's saying, Nyayam yat tat pravakshyami yat jnatva amritam ashnute. One attains to amritam, immortality or moksha. Anadi matparam brahma na sat tat na asat uchyate. So he's saying that which is beyond existence and non-existence, whatever you know as existing and not existing, that anadi matparam brahma, that brahma is anadi, it is beginningless and endless. So you need to know that sarvatav panipadam tat sarvato akshi shiro mukham. So that brahman, that which you need to know, that brahman is what is describing sarvatah pani padam. It has got its feet everywhere, it has got its hands everywhere. Tat sarvato, tat sarvatah, which means everywhere. Akshi shiro mukham, the eyes are everywhere and the head is everywhere. Sarvatah shruti malloke sarva sarvam avritya tishtati. So it is pervading everywhere, it has ears everywhere. Shruti mat loke, in this universe, sarvatah. So it has got its hands, legs, ears, eyes, everything everywhere. So it's the same as saying Sahasrashirsha Purushah Sahasraksha Sahasrapad. Sabhumim Sahasrashirsha Purushah Sahasraksha Sahasrapad. Sabhumim
Sabhumim Viswato Vritva Atyadishta
Vishwato
Dashangulam.
Vritva. Correct. Thank you, Mama. Sabhumim Vishwato Vritva Atyatishthad Dashangulam. So this is the Sarvavyapi Brahman he is talking about. That this is everywhere. And it's the same principle. You need to know this. He's saying you need to know this. And then he goes on to say, in 15th verse, Sarva Indriya Gunabhasam Sarva Indriya Vivarjitam. It is he who is perceiving through all the sense objects, but he himself is not having any sense organs. Asaktam Sarvabhrit Chaiva Nirgunam Gunam Bhoktra. He is he is the one who he remains unattached in everything, but yet he is the one who is bhoktra, the one who is enjoying through everything. So it's like saying, for example, there is electricity and it flows through the fan, the light, air conditioning, everything. Electricity, because of electricity, there is movement of the fan. Because of electricity, there is light. Because of electricity, the air conditioning works. Because of electricity, the car moves. But electricity itself is not attached to any of this. But without electricity, nothing can move. Right? Without that energy, that power, none of this can move. But yet that remains unattached, asaktam. Okay? Like saying Surya Bhagavan. It is like because of Surya Bhagavan, everything on this planet Earth is existing. But Surya Bhagavan is not connected, he is not attached to any of this. In the same way, he says this particular consciousness or Brahman that I'm talking about is the driver of all the sense organs, but it itself doesn't have senses. Brahman doesn't, or consciousness doesn't have ears, eyes, but because of it, you have ears that are listening. Because of that power, you have eyes that can see. Because we are talking about power, we are talking about an abstract entity. The problem is our mind cannot perceive abstraction. Mind can only perceive form. Nama, Rupa. We can only perceive Nama and Rupa. We need a name to something and we need a form to everything. Otherwise, we can't perceive it. Anything that is perceived through our five sense organs is only reality for us right now. And that is why somebody like a Krishna or a Guru is required to tell that there is something beyond this. But how can you achieve that? How can you get a sense of it? When you start knowing that you are not that. right? It's like running on a I mean, if you want to get to some distance, you shouldn't run on a treadmill, right? If you want to go from here to another place, if you're running on a treadmill in your house, you would have run 10 kilometers, but you would have not gone to any place. So in that way, you have to know that the energies that you're spending, to know this, is by withdrawing, is by knowing that I can't keep running. I can't keep running here on the outside to get to that. My energy will all be drained, but I will never get to it. Correct? I really want to get from place A to B. Will anybody run on a treadmill? No, they will run on the road. The road that leads from point A to point B is where I'm going to go and walk or run. Right? Reason being, this is the path in which I am. So the problem is, if you try to search for this in the indriya, in the sense organs, we will never find it. A beautiful example that comes to mind: when you're watching a television, you're watching the television, you're watching a movie, or you're watching something on the television or on the screen. If you want to watch the screen, how much ever you try, you'll not be able to see the screen until the movie is on. Somebody will come and tell you, this is the screen, this is the screen. How much ever they tell you, you will not be able to perceive the screen. What do you have to do? You have to believe in what he's saying. Yes, there is a screen on which the movie is running. If you start believing that it's truth, it's a problem. But we trust this person, whoever is saying that, yes, there is a screen, movie is running on the screen. What do? You turn off the movie for a little while. And this is what we have to do. We have to turn off the movie. Constantly going on, this movie is going on. You have to turn off the movie, which is what we say. We do dhyana, satsang, we go into meditation. All of that is turning off the movie. When you turn off the movie, then there is a possibility of experiencing the screen, the silent screen. And then next time when the movie is running, you know the movie is running on the screen. So that what that guru told is real. It's true. Why? Because now I have experienced that screen. I know that, yes, there is a screen on which this movie is running. So he's saying this particular entity, that Brahman or consciousness or Atma, whatever name you give, Kshetrajna, this is not, doesn't have senses, it doesn't have sense organs. So you have to actually, Tamil, my guru tells us very beautifully, and unfortunately I'm not able to repeat that. Panchabhutangal adangi. So he says Panchendriyangal adangi. I don't know from where he makes this reference. It's very beautiful. He says when all your sense organs come to a withdrawal, adangi. எந்த இடத்துல அது அடங்குறதோ அந்த இடத்துல you experience Shiva. That Shiva Tattvam or that experience of Brahman or whatever Krishna is talking about, that happens when there is adangal, where there's complete cessation of the senses. So, which is why this does not have sense organs. Sarva Indriya Gunabhasam, Sarva Indriya Vivarjitam. It does not have sense organs of its own, but yet it is required to enable your senses. Asaktam Sarva Bhritchaiva Nirgunam Gunabhoktricha. Then he goes on to say, Bahirantascha Bhutanam Acharam Charamevacha Sukshma Tattva Sukshmatvat Sukshmatvat Tat Avigneyam Durastham Chanti Kechatat. So when I read this, the Ishavasya Upanishad Vakya comes to mind. Antarbahishcha Yat Sarvam How does that go?
ವ್ಯಾಪ್ಯ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಅದು
That is Narayana Suktam. Ama, that is Narayana Suktam. There is another Vakya in or verse in Taddure Tadvantike Tadvantike Tadantarasya Sarvasya Tadu Sarvasya Bahyatah. Ishavasya Upanishad. Tad Antarasya Taddure Tad Antike. It is very far, it is very near. Tadantarasya Sarvasya. It is inside of everything. Tattu Sarvasya Bahyatah. It is also outside of everything. Ishavasya Upanishad. Very beautiful verse. Bahirantascha bhutanam acharam charamevacha. It is there in acharam and chara. All that moves and doesn't move. Sukshmatvat tat vigneyam. It is something that is very, very subtle and it is incomprehensible. At the same time, it's very far. Durastham cha antike cha tat. It is also very near. Tatu sarvasya bahyatah. Tadanta sarva tadu tadantike taddure tadantike taddure tadvantike tadu sarvasya taddure tadvantike. You can somebody pick up that verse, Ishavasya verse. Ishavasya. Give me a moment. It's a beautiful verse. Tadu tad tadde jati tanne jati taddure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasya bahyatah. The fifth verse. Tade jati tanne jati tad ejati tan na ejati. It moves, it doesn't move. Ejati is to move. Dhatu is ejra. Ejra dhatu means to shake or to quiver or to move. Tad ejati tad na ejati tanne jati. Tad dure tad antike. Tad antarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasya bahyatah. So the same thing Krishna is saying here. So it is something that is all encompassing. Basically, he is saying that it is everywhere, it's all encompassing, and it is inside, outside, everywhere. And it is a subtle, it's very subtle. And hence it is incomprehensible. You cannot comprehend it through the senses. Yet, it is like saying, how can the torchlight search the torch? Of course, it can search another torch, but it can't search itself. You can't turn the torchlight towards, because that is how our senses are. The senses are all outward bound. You cannot turn the sense organ to locate the subtle conscious principle that is within me. I cannot, because the nature of the sense organs are outward bound.
We cannot see ourselves alone. Yeah.
Yes, Mama?
We cannot see ourselves.
We cannot see, correct. The eyes cannot perceive itself. Right? So, Belaji, it is Ishavasya Upanishad, verse 5. Someone can look up on the internet and put it into the group. Verse 5 of Ishavasya Upanishad. Correct. The nose can't smell itself, tongue can't taste itself. Exactly. That's because it's outward bound. It needs an object to objectify the experience. Okay. Then he goes on to say, Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktim iva cha sthitam bhuta bhartru cha tadnyeyam grasishnu prabha vishnu cha. So he's saying it is indivisible, yet he appears as many. Avibhaktam. Avibhaktam cannot be divided, but he is Vibhaktam, he is amongst all. Bhuteshu vibhaktam chasthitam. He is situated in innumerable beings. Bhuteshu vibhaktim iva chasthitam. Then Bhuta Bhartr, he is the sustainer of all beings. Bhartr means the one is Bharta, who's the one who's sustaining. Bhuta Bhartr. Cha tadgneyam. And that which is to be known, that supreme is the sustainer. He is the sustainer, Bhartr. He is the annihilator, Grasishnu. And he is the Prabhavishnu. He is the creator. So he is the creator, the destroyer, and the sustainer. Bhuta Bhartr cha tadgneyam Grasishnu Prabhavishnu cha. So this particular principle that I am talking about, Arjuna, it is indivisible, yet it is present in and divided itself into so many different creatures and things and beings and objects of the world. Why? Because in itself it doesn't divide really. It just, so there are multiple ways of looking at this. So, yes, Amma. Correct. This is the one. Tadejati tannejati taddure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasya bhakyadaya. Correct. So, good. So, Amma, can you unshare? So, this is the this principle is present in everything, in all of creation. How is it that it in itself is not divisible, hence it is able, or it's able to be in everything, is because it is one. It is not. So this is the beauty of this whole idea of when we say Atma is one, Brahman is one, it is not the one that is divided into many. It's not like my Atma, your Atma, his Atma. No. Like they say, the oceans in the world, there is only one ocean. On the land, when land has come up on the top and it appears that the oceans are divided, but underneath all the oceans, there is only one water. Everything, it's not, it is not to say that the oceans are similar. No, there is only one ocean. In the same way, consciousness is only one. One way of looking at it is it is appearing as many. It appears. So similar to what you have is in your dream, you appear as if you are having a dream of your kollu party and you are there somewhere, and then some family is there and some random friend is coming there and you are sitting inside a house. All of those objects in that dream is you only. Right? That kollu party is you, that friend is you, the you is you, the house is you. If you're sitting there to eat, kollu party is coming and feeding you something, that food is also you. All of this that you're having in your experience is only you. There is nobody else. Is there anybody else in the world? Or do you need any other samagri? Do you need any other ingredient to create this dream? You only need you. So in the same way, he says that there is only this thing. It is indivisible, yet it is divided into many beings. Means what? There is only one. That is all it means. It's a way of saying that this is only one. Right? So the experiencer is, or the one who's experiencing the Now, when we talk about Jivatma, Paramatma, we are creating those distinctions, etc. Then the Sukshma Sharira that carries after life, and all of that. From the perspective of the Paramatma, from the perspective of Brahman, all of this is only like a movie. Everything is like a movie. Shiva is asking, what about angels and beings and celestial beings? All those are in the realm of the created world. All the 14 lokas are in the created world. We're talking about a principle that is devoid of all of this. There is no creation that's happened out of it. From where Brahman perceives all of this, it's just Brahman there. And then, which is what he now explains in the next one, in the 18th. I think we should pick it up in the next session. Jyotisham api tad jyotihi tamasaf param uchyate jnanam gneyam jnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam. It's very beautiful, this verse. It talks about this is the light of all lights. See, the point of, if you're talking about, oh, what about celestial beings? Oh, what about Pitraloka? What about Brahmaloka? What about Satyaloka? Where are the Indra, the Devatas? All of this still in the realm of creation. What this is pointing to is, which is why when you look at Brahmagyanis, those who have attained realization, for them everything is right here, right at this moment, it's here. Everything. Their experience of the world is a world that is in your appearance, it is in your experience, but in reality, and they operate because they are in this body, they'll operate. Now they say, oh, Mahavatar Babaji is there or not. Yes, he is there. If you invoke that energy, Mahavatar Babaji, that energy will come and operate. It will come and operate. But the essence that all of this is one is known. See, it's like saying, if I see the sky, it's blue in color. When my child asks, what is the color of the sky? I'll say blue. But I know the color of the sky is not blue really. It's a reflection. Now, after I know that, oh, this is reflection, I study in science and everything. If somebody comes and asks me what is the color of the sky, I will still say it's blue. So the knowledge that it is not actually blue, it does not disable me from operating in the world when it is seen blue, because the eyes that I carry are the same eyes that anybody else has. So this will also see blue like anybody else will see. A jnani and a mudha both will see the sky as blue only. Suddenly for the jnani, it'll not be like he's able to see the Andromeda galaxy and all of that, right? It'll not be like that. He'll also see the sky blue. When it is dark, suddenly he'll not be able to see. All of that will still be his problems because he's constrained by the same sense organs that you and I are. But the knowledge, the understanding is what we're talking about. That knowledge, that understanding that I am not the Mrita Sharira, I am the Amritam Ashnute. I am the one who's achieved that Amritam. That understanding, when it is there, you operate in the world the way that needs to be operated. If somebody will come and say, oh, should I pray to my father, my Pitru, my father died, I didn't pray to him. I say, yeah, please pray to him. Oh, but you only told there is nothing like this existing. But that is because you don't recognize it, right? You still think there is a father sitting there wanting to be prayed to. So this is the way, the interaction, which is where we also mistake such interactions with the truth. These interactions are required, these engagements are because we are in a certain realm of reality. A very beautiful line, I'll close with that line. Somebody asked a guru saying that, Gurudev, is this world a reality or a dream? He says, it is a dream. But that dream is real to you. So now what do you say? It is a real dream. So you operate within the contours of that dream. Once you break open from the dream, you come out of the dream, and then when you see everything, then you play along with it. You know, it's all a game. Maya, Leela, whatever you call it. Right? So we completed till the 17th verse today. We'll pick up from the next week, we'll pick up the 18th verse. There is also a verse where my guru very frequently uses Jyotisham api tad jyotihi tamasah param uchyate jnanam gneyam gyanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam. 18th verse. We'll see from the next week. ॐ कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि सदाशिवायेति समर्पयामि जगदम्बिकेति समर्पयामि सद्गुरुनाथायेति समर्पयामि हरि ओं तत्सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम